For the low cost of just one like button a day, you could help this short-term investor get over it. Just look at him. He's down. His stocks are down. Anything helps.
Lots of good buys emerging out there in the stock market with all this trade talk. Comment down below what you guys are buying. Thanks, Donald. Man, oh man, somebody is going to get their feelings hurt today. Controversial title, very controversial title, but it's here by popular demand. So we've got a lot of notes here, so this is going to be a long one. All right, a couple quick disclaimers. One, this is not financial advice. This is a guy in his socks eating egg rolls. Number two, I don't necessarily hate the things that I'm going to be talking about today. So yeah, just because I recommend that you cut something out does not mean that I don't like that thing. The affordability crisis you got to be tough out here. It's not the same situation that the baby boomers found themselves in. In fact, when you adjust average wages for inflation, baby boomers made 20% more at the same age than millennials do. All right, so why millennials are screwed. So we're going to make a couple assumptions here. We are going to assume basically that you're me. We're going to assume that you are 26 years old. We're going to assume that you make $39,000 a year, which is the average in Seattle. It's the next assumption. We're going to assume that you live in Seattle. We are going to assume that if you invested your money, you would get about an 8% return. Unless taxes go up, Social Security is going to dry out in 16 years, or 2035. So we're assuming you make $39,000 a year. Of those $39,000 a year, you're going to pay $4,486 in taxes. My mortgage is very low for the Seattle area. My overhead per month to live here is about $2,100, but I'm gonna go ahead and assume that you live, let's say that you live with a significant other and you live in a studio or something like this, but I'll assume that you just conservatively spend about $1,600 on bills, utilities, and I'll just give you $800 a month. So that's $9,600 a year. All right, food. So for food, we're assuming about $300 a month. That's pretty conservative. I don't know what you would be eating with that. Not much. So $3,600 a year. Transportation, so we're including gas, insurance, whatever you're doing, whether that be bus, whether that be, paying for gas, we're gonna assume that's about $3,600 per month. All right, loan repayment. So 47% of millennials graduated, not just attended, but graduated from college. So even though it is not likely the case that you have no student loan debt, we'll just go ahead and assume that you have no student loan debt, because millennials don't have student loan debt, right? Right? If you did have student loan debt, which you don't, that'd be typically about $400 a month conservatively. Depending on your interest rate and how much you have, the average graduate has about $29,000 student loan debt. We're also going to assume that you have no car payment, because you saved all that cash in college, right?
What? I'm out, man. I'm tripping.
So luckily you bought your car cash, but if you didn't, it would have been about $530 a month for a new car, or about $381 a month for a used car. So let's go ahead and tally this all up. With the student and car debt, you end up with $8,114 that you can invest every year. If you invested this for 39 years, you'd end up with about $1.9 million. Without the student and car debt, you end up with $17,714 to invest every year. Investing that over 39 years ends you with $4.2 million after 39 years. It's a $2.3 million difference. From that $4.2 million, you can get about $126,877 in passive income a year from dividends, if you assume a 3% rate of return. $126,877 a year, 40 years from now, has about the same buying power as $40,000 today. If you made exactly what you're making right now, and you didn't do anything fun ever, it would take you 40 years to retire, and you'd live a pretty meager existence at $40,000 a year in Seattle. All right, but who wants to do that? Nobody's really going to do that. A couple things that we used to see in the boomer generation very heavily that we should consider postponing or cutting out in the millennial generation are having kids early. That's good. It's estimated that on average a kid costs you about $14,000 per year. So if we take our $17,714 and subtract 14 away, we get $3,714. Assuming that you are only able to invest that, it would take you until age 85 to retire at that rate. Bruh. Now obviously these examples are a little bit extreme because you will make more money throughout your career, and that's the point. The days of going into your job and getting a 401k and just having the company support you are essentially over. With wages down over 20%, it's just not a feasible way to go about your retirement. When you retire, you're going to have to generate your own income through income producing assets. Number 2 is having a pet. Specifically, we're coming at dogs. And I know what people are probably out there thinking, like, oh my God, this guy hates kids and he hates dogs. And first of all, I love dogs. And secondly, I'm not saying take old Yeller out back, but what I am saying is hear me out. A dog is going to cost you about $153 a month. Take that, multiply it by 12, you get $1,836 annually. This amount every year, assuming you did not change your wages, of course we're making that assumption, pushes your retirement age back by 2 years, from 65 to 67. All right, number 3, being afraid of credit cards. So credit cards, I could do a whole video on that, but I just want to make a couple main points. Number 1, you need to build your credit. Things are going to be more expensive if you don't build your credit. And number 2, there are so many sweet offers out there. All right, I don't want this to be some kind of weird flex, but just this year I made $550 from an Amex offer, $150 from a Capital One offer. If you add up that $700 with a 2% back on $21,000 of spending, which we've included in this budget, you get up to $913 annually. And that's without even including the fact that 2 things broke this year for me: my Bose headphones and my MacBook. Those were covered under extended warranties through my credit cards, and that ended up being a $1,600 value. So the $913 plus the $1,600, just over $2,500. So the next one that we're going to get into is smoking and drinking. We're just going to assume that you go out once a week, have 3 drinks, and it costs $15, and then you smoke 1 pack of cigarettes a week. 1 pack of cigarettes a week, had to look this up, costs $9 in Washington State. So that's $54 a week. If you invested $54 a week instead, in 40 years you would have $621,247.17. Looked at the way that I like to look at it, that is $18,000 a year in passive income by your retirement age. All right, the next one that we're gonna get into is just, there's no better way for me to put it, just flexing. So we're talking liabilities here. We're talking boats. We're talking Jordans, taking out debt to travel, music festivals. So we obviously cannot put a number on this one because there's no average number really collected. That I couldn't find any statistics on how much the average millennial spends on music festivals or travel. I did find one statistic that 1/3 of millennials that go to music festivals went into debt to do so. And they didn't go into, some low interest loan. It had to have been credit card debt. So you're taking on 24%. Another note on flashy things. A lot of people like flashy things because they see celebrities wearing these flashy things, but let's take a step back and really think about this. Let's say you see Beyonce wearing some type of designer bag or something on the red carpet. I mean, maybe she bought it, but think about how much that is worth to that company. You think on average she is paying to wear things or being paid to wear things? Think about that. And at the end of the day, it's really, to me, it's just your status. Like, I don't care what your status is. You should be worried about your freedom more than you're worried about your status. To sum up this video, millennials need to make more money, and employers are not going to give you the money. They don't have to. And on the get out and vote tip, I mean, do we really think that these millionaire politicians are going to bite the hand that feeds? Or should we just go ahead and take matters into our own hands, go out there, create your own income, be smart with your money, save your money, invest it, and then create your own retirement? Alright, hopefully you guys liked the video. If you did, make sure you give it a like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Instagram. Just press every single button on the screen right now an odd number of times and you'll be good. Go add me on MySpace. I don't know. I'm out of here.